Quentin Tarantino isn't just a director. He's a cinematic storyteller, a conductor of cool, remixing cinematic history into something original, making violence fun, dialogue sing. A one-man revolution in Hollywood, exploded with Reservoir Dogs, double-tapped with Pulp Fiction, crafting experiences, not just movies, building worlds with hitmen, samurai brides, curating a unique cinematic universe, films devoured, dissected, debated, quoted, imitated, parodied, inspiring costumes, karaoke, memes, permeating our culture. He's Quentin Tarantino, and he's here to stay. Tarantino's influence stretches far beyond the confines of the cinema. His films have seeped into the very fabric of popular culture, influencing everything from fashion to music to even, believe it or not, sports. Remember the Kill Bill sirens blaring during sporting events? Yeah, that's Tarantino's touch. He's given us catchphrases that have become part of our everyday lexicon. Say what again? Royal with cheese. These lines aren't just movie quotes, they're cultural touchstones. They're the secret handshake of the cool kids, the password to the Tarantino Club. Even the world of politics has felt the Tarantino effect. His stylized violence and morally ambiguous characters have sparked countless debates about the role of violence in media. He's forced us to confront uncomfortable truths, to question our own sense of morality. He's made us think, even if we don't want to. His impact is undeniable, pervasive, and enduring. He's a cultural phenomenon, a force of nature, a cinematic earthquake that continues to reshape the landscape of popular culture. He's the guy who makes violence look cool, even though we know it's not. That's the Tarantino magic. Tarantino's films are a unique blend of violence, humor, and controversy, shaken, not stirred. It's a cocktail that shouldn't work, but somehow in his hands it becomes intoxicating. It's like a Molotov cocktail served in a champagne flute. It's dangerous, it's exhilarating, and it's definitely going to leave a mark. He's not afraid to push boundaries, to challenge our sensibilities, to make us squirm in our seats. He'll show you a severed ear, a scalped Nazi, a gushing arterial spray, and then he'll make you laugh about it. It's a delicate balancing act, a tightrope walk between the horrific and the hilarious. His violence isn't gratuitous. It's stylized, choreographed, almost balletic. It's over the top, operatic, and often absurdly funny. It's violence as entertainment, violence as art, violence as a reflection of the absurdity of life itself. He's a master of the uncomfortable laugh, the nervous chuckle, the "I can't believe I just laughed at that" moment. He's a provocateur, a button pusher, a cinematic prankster who delights in messing with our heads, and we keep coming back for more. Tarantino's characters are more than just characters. They're pop culture icons. They're the hitmen in sharp suits, the samurai sword-wielding brides, the stuntmen with a past. They're Jules Winfield quoting Ezekiel, Beatrix Kiddo seeking revenge, and Cliff Booth casually hanging out with his dog. They're instantly recognizable, endlessly quotable, and eternally cool. They're the kind of characters you want to dress up as for Halloween, the kind of characters you quote with your friends, the kind of characters who live on in our collective imagination. They're complex, flawed, and often morally ambiguous. They're killers, thieves, and liars, but they're also charming, witty, and surprisingly relatable. They're the anti-heroes we root for, the bad guys we can't help but love. From Vincent Vega and Mia Wallace to Django and Shoshana, Tarantino's characters have become ingrained in the pop culture lexicon. They're the faces of his films, the voices of his generation, the embodiment of his unique cinematic vision. Tarantino's love for westerns and B-movies is no secret. He wears his influences on his sleeve like a badge of honor. He's a cinematic magpie, collecting bits and pieces of his favorite films. A student of film history, a devotee of the grindhouse. He grew up on spaghetti westerns, kung fu flicks, and blaxploitation films. These genres became the foundation of his style. He saw the beauty in the gritty, the poetry in the pulpy. He's paying homage, elevating them, giving them new life. Transforming tropes into something fresh and cool. A walking encyclopedia of film knowledge. His passion for film is infectious. Tarantino's use of violence is often controversial, but it's always infused with a playful irony. It's over the top, stylized, and often absurdly funny. It's not meant to be taken literally. It's a heightened reality, a cartoonish exaggeration of violence. It's violence as performance, violence as spectacle, violence as a darkly comedic punchline. He understands the power of violence, but he also understands its absurdity. He uses it to shock, to entertain, to provoke, but he never glorifies it. He walks a fine line between the horrific and the hilarious, and he rarely, if ever, falls off. He's a master of the slow-motion blood splatter, the perfectly timed gunshot, the operatic death scene. He choreographs violence like a dance, a macabre ballet of blood and guts. It's gruesome, it's shocking, but it's also strangely beautiful. He's not afraid to push boundaries, to challenge our sensibilities, to make us question our own reactions. He's a provocateur, a button pusher, a cinematic prankster who delights in messing with our heads. And we keep coming back for more. Tarantino is a master of nonlinear storytelling. He jumps back and forth in time, weaving together multiple storylines. It's like a puzzle box, slowly revealing its secrets. He's playing with our expectations. His use of music is equally innovative. He's a musical curator, selecting the perfect song for every scene. Tarantino's dialogue is as sharp as a razor, as witty as a stand-up comedian, and as profane as a sailor on shore leave. His characters talk about everything and nothing, about burgers and foot massages, about the intricacies of Madonna's lyrics and the proper way to give a scalp massage. His dialogue isn't just clever, it's rhythmic, musical, almost poetic. It's the kind of dialogue you want to quote, the kind of dialogue that gets stuck in your head, the kind of dialogue that makes you want to learn how to speak Tarantino. He's a master of the long take, the close-up, the trunk shot. He uses these techniques to create a sense of intimacy, of immediacy, of being right there in the room with his characters. He's a visual storyteller, a cinematic poet, a master of the moving image. His influence on modern storytelling is undeniable. He's inspired countless filmmakers, writers, and artists. He's changed the way we tell stories, the way we watch movies, the way we think about cinema. The Tarantino effect is real. His influence can be seen in countless films, television shows, and even video games. He's inspired a generation of filmmakers, writers, and artists. He's a cinematic godfather, a cultural icon, a legend in his own time. He's not just influencing, he's being imitated, parodied, and homaged. His style is so distinctive, so recognizable, that it's become a genre unto itself. It's the slow-motion walk, the Mexican standoff, the trunk shot, the over-the-top violence, the witty dialogue, the eclectic soundtrack. He's created a cinematic universe that is both familiar and utterly unique. It's a world populated by colorful characters, unexpected plot twists, and moments of sheer cinematic brilliance. It's a world we keep coming back to again and again. He's a cinematic trailblazer, a rule breaker, a game changer. He's shown us that anything is possible, that cinema can be anything you want it to be. He's given us permission to be bold, to be different, to be ourselves. A legacy of cool 3 decades of influence. For over 3 decades, Tarantino has been shaping the landscape of popular culture. He's a cultural icon, a cinematic legend, a force of nature. He's the guy who made violence look cool, dialogue sing, and feet. Well, let's just not talk about the feet. He's given us some of the most iconic characters, quotable lines, and memorable scenes in cinematic history. He's pushed boundaries, challenged conventions, and redefined what it means to be a filmmaker. He's a true original, a one-of-a-kind talent, a cinematic maverick. His films are more than just movies, they're cultural touchstones, conversation starters, and sources of endless entertainment. They're the kind of films you watch again and again, discovering something new each time. They're the films that make you think, that make you laugh, that make you question everything you thought you knew about cinema. He's a master storyteller, a visual poet, a cinematic magician. He's Quentin Tarantino, and he's here to stay. Conclusion: the enduring power of Tarantino. Quentin Tarantino is more than just a director, he's a cultural phenomenon. He's a storyteller who has redefined cinema, a provocateur who has challenged our sensibilities, an artist who has inspired a generation. He's the king of cool, the master of the macabre, the maestro of the movie moment. His films are a unique blend of violence, humor, and controversy, a cocktail that shouldn't work but somehow magically does. They're a reflection of our times, a commentary on our culture, a celebration of the power of cinema. They're the kind of films that stay with you long after the credits have rolled. His legacy is secure. He's a cinematic icon, a cultural touchstone, a name that will be remembered long after he's gone. Thanks for watching. If you love movies as much as we do, make sure to subscribe for more exciting breakdowns, reviews, and updates on the latest releases. Don't forget to hit that like button and ring the notification bell to stay updated on all things movies.